The scanning tables are just at the end of the finish funnel. Once you finish the 2 laps, please make sure that you cross the line, stay in the funnel, and at the end collect your token. Please keep in order and please don't look out of the funnel. If you don't have parkrun today, then you don't get the result, but just enjoy the run. Under 11s, if you have children with you, please be within arm's length reach your responsible adult at all times. If you do have a dog with you, please make sure it's under control at all times from the start all the way around the 2 laps and the finish as well, please. Just make sure it's on a understandable lead and again under control. Any emergencies, there are marshals out on the course.
My name is Ella and I've been parkrunning for 9 years.
My name is Rebecca Preston and I've been parkrunning for 12 years. I don't really know why I started running, I just happened to have a friend who ran and she used to pick up her daughter off at school and go for a run, and one day I just joined her. I wasn't actually cut out for it, I had leisure trainers on, Reeboks, and my feet were killing me by the end of it. I just realised how unfit I was because Jackie wasn't even short of breath and I could hardly breathe. But I just really enjoyed it and just started running 3 times a week from there.
I started running because of Mum, really. She ran every Saturday when I was playing football, so I couldn't run as much when I was a kid. But she used to do loads of different runs, different races, and she used to do PB after PB, and I thought, hey, maybe I could do that. So that's how I sort of fell into the running world. Parkrun is important to me because it just oozes this type of joy that no other aspect of my life really oozes. It's a chance for me to go there on a Saturday and just be myself and be with these other people that have the same interests as me.
Oh, I absolutely love parkrun. It's a fantastic event. It's free, but that's not the main reason. I know I am Yorkshire, but that ain't the main reason. I just love going, the sense of community.
All the volunteers, all of the park walkers, all of the different runners, they come from miles around to do different races, and it's just a lovely atmosphere and a lovely place to go, and then it's done and you can enjoy the rest of your Saturday, which is also lovely. So yeah, honestly it's like a drug. I love it so much, and it's just lovely to be there with loads of different people that share the same interests as you.
Everybody's so welcoming, so enthusiastic, and it's just a lovely way to start your weekend at 9 AM, and you know you can go to any park that's organising it at that time and there'll be a lovely event to go to.
I came up with the A to Z idea back in November 2019. I used to travel to a place in Birmingham on a filmmaking course, and I used to get the train, so I used to be there pretty early. So I used to sort of sit in the cafe and dream up different ideas that Mum and I could do just in general, not even just in running. And I came across the parkrun A to Z idea on the parkrun blog, and I know a lot of people have done the A to Z before, but not a lot of people have done the A to Z in order, which is what I wanted to try and do. And there are loads of parkruns with different letters around the Midlands area, so I thought, yeah, bish bash bosh, do it in 1 year and then we can move on to maybe other challenges. This is the original A to Z scrapbook that I've been doing all of our entries in for the parkruns that we've completed. And this is the original parkrun calendar, so I labelled red for every parkrun under the hour, blue for every parkrun between the hour and 2 hours, and green for anything more than that, which includes abroad, which we would have to do. This is really everything that we've done leading up to the final one, which is in Holland.
When Ella proposed the idea of A to Z, I was really excited. But then when she said, "Oh, we'll do it in 26 weeks," I thought, "Oh," and that's a bit of a tough call because, you know, sometimes you have got other things that you need to do other than parkrun on a Saturday morning. Because she's anal, we had to do it in alphabetical order. So we started with Arrow Valley.
So first stop on the tour was Arrow Valley, which is in Redditch, and it was December, so we were in Santa hats, and then there was this thing called the Pool of Doom, which was this patch of water along the off-road, but it was like you could go around it, so it was pretty much hard to avoid, so you just had to go straight through it.
My main memory from Arrow Valley was the fact that, like I said, it was between Christmas and New Year, so there was lots of people dressed up in Santa outfits and pixies and fairies and whatnot. And then the race director was talking about the puddle of doom that we had to go through twice. I just thought, oh, we haven't got spare trainers or socks. And this puddle wasn't a little puddle. I mean, it came up to about mid-calf. So it was such fun running through it.
Mum actually wrote into 3 Weekly Time podcast with it, and it started this like craze of different Pool of Dooms along different parkruns. So that's something that is really cool for us to have said that we've done.
We've done Bedworth on a couple of times before, so it's quite a nice course around the park, and I met my friend there, another different Jackie who I used to work with, so it was nice having a catch up with her.
Bedworth it was okay, it was maybe nothing to write home about, but I quite enjoy Bedworth just in general. And we got free technical t-shirts at the end of Bedworth because some guy was just handing them out, so that was a really nice souvenir.
And Coventry's home, so caught up with some of my old pals from Massey Ferguson's when we ran that, and obviously it's a course that we well know.
Coventry is our home parkrun. Obviously 800 people did it at the start of 2020, but it was a horrible course obviously because it's kind of really undulating, but it's nice to do your home parkrun with loads of people as well. Like Coventry is a really popular one and it's been around nearly since the birth of parkrun, so yeah, it was really nice for us to do. So we did Arrow Valley, Bedworth and Coventry in consecutive weeks, so I thought, hey, we're pretty much, we're smacking through these, it could, by the end of 2020, could finish. So yeah, it was a really good start and strong start to the challenge. So in the sort of January, February time of 2020, Mum's granny became ill, and Mum had to go up to Yorkshire to care for her, and we weren't sure how long that was going to be for, so Dee had to be put off for the foreseeable future, which was a shame, but obviously, health and family come before running.
My mum had been ill for a number of years, but had a stroke in the middle of December 2019, and it became evident as the weeks went on that she wasn't going to recover from it, so I went up to Yorkshire in the January and stayed with her until she died on the 5th of February.
Felt sad that Granny had become quite ill quite quickly, and it's obviously not a really nice time for Mum, and to see her suffer through that, it wasn't very nice either.
I think about my mum every day, and it's sad that she's no longer around. But unfortunately, that's life, and you've just got to get on with it. But, I do miss her every day, and I do think about her every day.
So Granny died around the 5th of February 2020, so Mum came back to Coventry after she passed away, and we completed Daventry 3 days afterwards. And Daventry was my 50th parkrun, so it was a really nice occasion to spend my 50th on tour and in this challenge. I remember there being loads of dogs, and I remember there being a reservoir. Yeah, it was a really nice parkrun again. We were back on the road in the challenge.
Data from the Met Office has confirmed that the UK has just endured the wettest February since records began. An average of 202 millimetres of rain, that's nearly 8 inches, fell last month. That beats the previous record of 193 millimetres set in February 1990.
Around the February time of 2020, there were storms, loads of storms that came over the UK, so a lot of parkruns were being cancelled week after week. So we all got in the car to go to Evesham, and I was refreshing the Facebook page just to make sure that it wasn't cancelled, because the last thing you wanted to do was turn up and it not be on. So throughout this challenge, it was really nice to get other people to come along, and so Mum's friend Amanda joined us for Evesham.
Hi, my name's Amanda Gover, and I've been park running for 4 years. So, parkrun A to Z challenge obviously was something that was new to me. It's very addictive. I find that I've just my focus is now back on to dipping back into it, and so I've just up to 60 runs from yesterday. Evesham, that day, I think first of all, massive kudos for actually going to it. It was really wet. It previously been flooded. It was quite good attendance actually, and I think it just shows the whole, just community spirit behind the park run community, all the volunteers turning up on a day when really truthfully I thought it was going to be cancelled, but yeah, it was really good.
That was her first A to Z, and it was one of the few times that she'd done tourism, so it was really nice to have her along. Luckily it was there, so we managed to do it, and it was out and back, it was flat, but they had to change the course a bit just because of the volume of water, and I remember the river was like that close to bursting its banks, but we ran it, and I distinctly remember some guy slipped into the finish funnel, which was real dedication from him. Hopefully he got a good time.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
The Prime Minister has announced the most drastic limits to our lives that the UK has ever seen in living memory. The aim, he says, is to save lives in this time of national emergency.
When March 2020 came around and the UK was put into lockdown, obviously we got maybe a quarter of the way through, so it was a massive spanner in the works in our challenge. But like I said about Granny, health and family come before running, so parkrun was postponed for the foreseeable future.
When COVID came along and obviously the parkrun was paused, it was gutting, but in the middle of a pandemic, we all abided by the rules and the regulations because we had to try and prevent or reduce the risk of the spread of the virus. So, I mean, we all in the family continued to exercise. I didn't do the not park runs, but I still went out running. It was gutting, not only because we were actually in the throes of the A to Z as well, so we didn't know how long that would be paused for either.
We could not go out and roam with other people. We had to just go out and roam by ourselves, which we did do throughout lockdown. So yeah, I mean, it was not very ideal for the challenge, but there are bigger things going on than parkrun at that time. During lockdown, Mum was diagnosed with polymyalgia rheumatica, which meant that she had to stop running altogether and start walking.
The definition of PMR is polymyalgia rheumatica. It's a condition that's an autoimmune condition, and it affects the tendons and the ligaments and your muscles, and it just causes systemic inflammation. And that's due to a hormone that's released in the middle of the night that causes this. Now, the aim is to control the symptoms with prednisolone, but getting the right dose of prednisolone, which is a steroid, can be quite tricky. So it's a condition, it has no cure, it's only managed, and it should, the textbooks say burn out in 2 years, but generally in real life it's between 5 to 10 years.
Again, another obstacle. We had many obstacles throughout the lockdown, and I felt quite sad for Mum because running was her passion. She really enjoyed running. She was the reason that I got into running. So to see her have to stop what she was doing, yeah, it was really hard.
It's like Groundhog Day. It starts again because the hormone is released again that night. Some people have a better reaction to the steroids and are now pain-free. Mentally, I love moving, and because obviously I couldn't run, I found it difficult to walk. It was really difficult to stay positive, but I just changed the way that I exercised, so I just went out for a walk in the evening, albeit still rather painful, and I just wanted to get out and do some form of exercise.
And we had some tough days during lockdown, but you know, Mum is one of the strongest people that I know, so if anybody can get back to running and get back to doing what she was doing before she was diagnosed with the condition, it's Mum, definitely.
So I've got an array of medals from various races that I've run, and they're all on my medal hanger in my bedroom, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of looking at them and reminiscing about the races that I've run. So I'm just going to go through some of them with you now. So this is the first ever race that I did. It was a cancer research 5k race. I didn't think that I could run 5k, well, not stopping anyway. I did it with my friend Catherine, and it was in Scarborough, and we ran around St Oliver's Mount. So it was a massive sense of achievement afterwards when I got the medal. I managed to run the whole 5k without stopping, and we raised a bit of money for cancer research as well. I have to say this is one of my favourite races. So it's a Gato 10k night. It's a night 10k. So you're around with your head torch and all your reflective gear, and you're running the forest, and it's absolutely amazing. I mean, I was scared that I was going to lose a fellow in front of me and that I was going to get lost, but it was I can't explain, it was just a magical run and really freeing, and thoroughly enjoyed it, and we had a lovely cup of hot chocolate at the end. So we were absolutely race devoid in COVID. So when the restrictions lifted a little bit in the August, we decided that we're going to do our own half marathon. So Ella, Abby, Elliot, Abby's partner, Amanda and I all ran the half marathon, but it was just a lovely race. We all ran the same route, but we all sort of finished at different stages as our watches all flagged up 13.1 miles at different places. But it was lovely. Ella got us all these medals afterwards, and we had a barbecue in the garden. Obviously, COVID restrictions, we were within, but it was just lovely. And we did say that we're going to run it every year, but we haven't got round to doing it yet. But it's something that hopefully we will do in the future.
In October of 2020, when lockdown restrictions were lifted slightly, I decided to move down to Bournemouth to go to university to study film for 3 years, so that would make the A to Z challenge even harder because I'd have to either travel up here or Mum would have to travel down to Bournemouth. So a few of the A to Z's actually changed, you'll see. And yeah, I mean, it was frustrating that we'd only got to E by the time everything kind of had to stop, but we were ready to start up again once parkrun was available to do again, because it was still postponed at this point.
So my brother Barry died in the October of 2020. He'd become unwell in the May of that year, but because of the pandemic wasn't able to get any of the tests that he needed, which would have come to a diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. So unfortunately, when the tests were done, he only had 7 weeks to live. We shared a love of running. I mean, he just absolutely loved parkrun. His home parkrun was York. And we were kind of in a race to who could get to 100 the first. And we'd also got to do the Great North Run together in the October of 2020.
Well done, darling.
Pandemic that had been cancelled, and we booked other runs that the 2 castles, which was also cancelled. So all the races that we would have done together, unfortunately, we couldn't do. So it is sad that we'd never run a race together. But he absolutely loved running. He did several half marathons, 10Ks all around the Yorkshire area. When parkrun resumed, Ella and I didn't actually resume our A to Z. Ella continued parkrunning, but because I couldn't parkrun, I just went up and watched her. And then about 6 weeks in, I had this epiphany and thought, I can actually park walk. So we resumed the A to Z with Forest of Dean.
So, like I said, Amanda joined us for some of these runs in the A to Z, and she joined us for Forest of Dean, which was 18 months after we'd completed Evesham, when parkrun started back up in July of 2021. And Mum realised that she could walk parkrun rather than run it.
Amanda came along with us. And normally I don't know where the parkruns are. Ella just gives me the postcode, I stick it in the sat nav and off we go. And Amanda said, because we'd set off at about, 6:15 in the morning, Amanda, as we were getting nearer, Amanda says, oh my word, we're nearly in Wales.
Forest of Dean. Right. So, as I recall, that was my really first sort of out of area, sort of significant distance. Typical me, hadn't looked at the course, profile before, or really where it was. I remember just obviously getting picked up and then realised nothing. I think I made a comment something like we were nearly near Wales or something like that.
And I realised how far away we were. But it was absolutely, so lovely to park walking. Doing it in an actual forest was absolutely amazing. It was just a lovely way to restart our A to Z.
Yeah, it was really nice to be back up and running in the challenge again. So with Gedling, it was a chance for Abby to come along with us.
My name is Abby Preston and I've been parkrunning since I think about 2014.
It was her first chance to run on the tour, and Gedling was this old mining, it used to be an old mine turned sort of country park, and it was really nice. We were really up high so we could see some of Northampton as we were running around, but it was quite hilly, so Abby wasn't best pleased with Mum and I. She should have done the Forest of Dean because that was pretty flat.
Gedling, I remember being very hilly, which is something that I remarked on as soon as we arrived, which I think Bella found quite funny. There were also some cows in a field at the end, which was a bit weird.
Gedling was near Nottingham, and it's an old disused mine that's been redone in the form of a country park, and it was a bit of a grey day, but it had loads of statues, wood carving, metal statues about the mining and about the wildlife that you see in the country park. And I walked around with two tail walkers who had dogs, and they were telling me all about the history of the now country park. And again, it was just a positive experience.
And Hanley was this beautiful park. It was a beautiful, beautiful park in Stoke, and honestly one of the best parks I've ever been to in my life, let alone on the tour. So yeah, it was lovely, and we ran it.
So Hanley is in Stoke, and it was such a beautiful park in the middle of a city. It just had everything. It had a lovely bridge, a canal, it had a lovely water feature. The flowers were amazing in the flower beds. I have to say, the tail walker, we did talk about fridges and the internal workings of them, which I did zone out on, but the park was absolutely beautiful.
Mum walked it, and she was enjoying consistently walking, and she was getting faster. You know, I always thought she would walk it faster than I could run it if she continued, and she gets a proper march on.
And Isabel Trail is an out and back on an old disused railway line, again in the country, which I like. And afterwards we had a nice sausage sandwich at the rugby club where we parked afterwards.
Isabel Trail was a really nice park run. It was as out and back as you can possibly get. And I remember Isabel Trail because it's the fourth fastest, or it was at that time, park run in the UK. And the race director was very well dressed. He had a suit and a tie on. It was really nice to be First Lady. I didn't think I'd be getting First Lady, but the smaller park runs are a really nice opportunity to test myself, see how fast I can go. And at that stage in the challenge, I was consistently running sub 24:30.
Jersey Farm, I remember being quite cold and quite slippy, and quite a large part of it was in some nice forests, which was lovely. I remember not being able to find the start initially.
So Jersey Farm, I recall another great out of area venue. I think that was like my second one. Just great location. Bit problematic trying to find the start. I remember us getting a good reference, parking the car, and then just wandering across all the fields trying to find another runner, knowing that we were going in the right direction. But yeah, it was great all around, sort of like the area of beautiful fields, and then went into a bit of a trail area run.
It was a lovely sunny day, and I think we found quite a nice cafe for breakfast that was a little bit away from Jersey Farm, and it was a lovely morning out.
It was just an absolutely gorgeous day, blue skies, and yeah, it was a really, really good trail run.
Kingsbury Water Park, it was absolutely soaking wet, so that kind of kicked us off on a bit of a damp, no pun intended.
Hiya, my name is Elliot Hastings. I started doing parkrun in 2017 and I'm up to 64 parkruns now. Well, Kingsbury Water Park, yeah, to be honest, I've remembered it only as Kingsbury Water Log because it was wet and rainy and we were wading through water the whole time. That's all I can remember about it, just how just wet it was all the way around.
It was very flat but very narrow, so because of how narrow and wet and slippery it was, it felt a little bit sort of cramped. So I quite like to do it again when the weather's better because it would probably be quite a good PB course. Leamington, I have only done once, which is a bit bad really because it's so close. But most of the course is great until you get to Heart Attack Hill. But the rest of it is basically downhill. So I reckon if you hung on in there on Heart Attack Hill, you could probably get quite fast on that parkrun. Not really any cafe or amenities nearby, which is a bit of a shame, but it is a nice parkrun.
Around the Christmas of 2021, we all got COVID, which was a real shame because we'd managed to avoid it in the period where it was rife. But no, it caught up with us and we were on a good run of park runs. So yeah, it was another obstacle, lo and behold. So yeah, it was not nice, and it had literally just gone past 2 years since we started the challenge, and I felt like we'd been doing this challenge forever, which was a stark contrast from at the start of the challenge when I somehow thought we could manage to do it in a year.
We all developed COVID in 2021, which stopped us parkrunning again. Fortunately, we didn't have the virus too bad. We just felt like we'd got a heavy cold, but we felt quite tired. So that put another curveball in our A to Z. But again, we were lucky in that we weren't hospitalised and we were able to just recover at home from this awful virus.
To stop again after having to stop for basically a year and a half was really hard, and yeah, not ideal, but you know, when people become ill and when things happen, you just have to stop, take a minute, and then you know that parkrun will always be there. So Melton Mowbray was the first parkrun that we completed after everybody had been cleared of COVID, and it was really difficult actually because I didn't realise how much it affected me until then. Melton Mowbray was really nice and wet, but everybody came along, Abby did and Dad did as well, and the dog. So yeah, it was really nice, and they were celebrating I think their 7th anniversary, so lots of people were dressed up, and I distinctly remember running behind a nun at Melton Mowbray, so that is something that will always live in my mind when I think of Melton Mowbray parkrun. Northampton was really good. It was one of the first parkruns that we'd completed in 2022, which would start sort of the rest of the letters all the way up to Y. So yeah, it was really nice to do. It was this park sort of in the middle of housing estate. They had no selfie square or purple start, so we had to borrow this man John's jumper, which had Northampton Striders I think on it. So yeah, it was nice to just sort of be like, hey, can we use the back of your jumper to make sure that the people know that we've been here? So he was lovely there, and he got a shout out in the scrapbook, so you can get a shout out here too. Oaklands was a real family affair. We had me, Mum, Abby, Elliot's mum Maureen, and Mum's sister Dawn all came along to Birmingham.
Hello, my name's Maureen. I am Elliot's mum, and I've been involved in the parkruns in the Kingsbury Water Park and Oaklands.
Oh, the Oaklands parkrun. That was great because it was one of those kind of small ones. So it was a tiny field really in Birmingham, and there just wasn't that many people there, and it was great to just go along and be involved and just have a bit of fun. You know, you're not kind of following massive queues of people. We're just getting it done with people who really want to be there.
I didn't run in Oaklands. I actually spectated. It was fabulous to see everybody there. It was wonderful. I felt as though I was part of something when I was at the parkrun, I felt as though I was part of a group of people that had all turned up to enjoy a run and exercise and be together, and I felt included.
Which was one of our first parkruns in Birmingham, which is weird because Birmingham actually has a lot of parkruns. But yeah, it was really nice, and it was my 21st birthday. The race director said, and it's 21st birthday, like happy birthday too. And in my head I was thinking, oh, I'm 21. So yeah, I got a shout out as well, and everyone clapped me, and it was lovely. And Oakland's, I think, was 72 people ran Oakland, so it was one of the smaller parkruns that we've completed on tour. I think it's the smallest actually. So that was really weird to sort of come in around maybe 10th, 11th.
I really enjoyed Pool Park Run. It was a glorious sunny day, bright blue sky, loads of people park walking or running or jogging, and for some unknown reason it just reminded me of Central Park in New York, so I just got this massive buzz from doing it. We walked around a bit of a lake, which is again always a big tick for me. The only downside was the cafe wasn't open, but I got a massive buzz from doing it. I can't explain what was happening that day, but it was just this massive buzz.
Queen Elizabeth Parkrun is one of the hardest parkruns in the southwest. So Mum came down to Bournemouth, and then we went over to Hampshire where Queen Elizabeth was, and it was like a lovely country park. But like, as we were driving to it, Mum was like, "Is that it?" And then it was here. And it was lovely, honestly, but it was hilly as hell again. So it's one of those parkruns that I actually completed in over half an hour, which I very rarely do. So yeah, it was lovely. It was a lovely day. This woman, she told us that there's a whole world of parkrun geekism out there if we dig deep enough. So Mum and I barely scratched the surface, but I tell you now, we are well into the parkrun geekism. Rugby is quite local. It's not one to write home about. It's 3 fields, and it was really hot that day as well, I remember, but we did it, and it is always nice to go back to if commentary's not on and we're looking for another parkrun to run. S changed a lot throughout the parkrun. It started off with Stanmore Valley, then it was Southampton, just in case Mum wanted to travel down to Bournemouth. But we thought, why travel when you've got a perfectly good S on your doorstep? So we did S at Stratford, and Stratford was a lovely parkrun. It's 3 laps, which I usually wouldn't like, but it's a lovely flat park. And it had a lake, and Stratford is a lovely part of the world. I didn't mind running around it 3 times.
Tewkesbury wasn't my favourite park to walk round because it was 4 laps of essentially 2 fields with a bit of a hill in the middle. However, on saying that, and the town itself was quite pretty, and I would actually go back to the town, but yeah, it wasn't my favourite. I forgot that they didn't have any identification that it was Tewkesbury Parkrun, so we had to collar someone with a Tewkesbury Running Club sweatshirt on to prove that we'd been there. But he was obliging, and as you could see, we were laughing about it. Before we got to university parks, we generally, whenever we're doing the tourism, we normally leave about 30 to 40 minutes in case we go wrong, which we've never gone wrong. We've always managed to get there, park up with loads of time to spare. And as we entered Oxford, where University Parks is, all the roads were closed because of the peloton, and we couldn't get to the car park. So in the end, we just parked in the town centre and made our way on foot with not a lot of time to spare. We weren't really sure where we could go. I couldn't walk fast because of the PMR, and Liz in a right state because she thinks we're going to miss the start. And I just said, all we need to do is find some people in Lycra and we'll follow them. And as it happens, we found 3 university students who were going to parkrun. So we walked with them. We got there with literally about 30 seconds to spare. So Ella got to the front and literally parkrun started. I settled down at the back and we did it. Valentine's to walk was again a lovely park run. Kind of blew my head away that we'd travelled down to London to do this. The Londoners were just out and about doing their own thing, and we'd come down from Coventry to walk it.
I'm Barry Preston, and I was involved in Melton Mowbray, Valentine's and Zoyder Park. Enjoyed Valentine's. It was interesting to get down there through into London. But I enjoyed Valentine's. I actually held the coats, watched them come in, and then bought the breakfast.
It was a beautiful day again, and it was just a lovely park to walk round.
Warwick Racecourse was really cool because it was a lot closer to us than I thought it was. And it's just you're running around this kind of horse racing track, and about halfway it's a tiny hill, but it's just absolutely evil for I don't really know what reason. So it was good fun, but that hill will live in my nightmares.
Again, it's the only time I've done on Warwick Racecourse, which is a bit of a surprise given that I only live nearby. But I heard everyone say it was flat, but I really didn't expect the big hump in the middle that you had to go over twice. But a really nice park run.
Warwick was quite a close park run. It was a local one and it was a W conveniently, so we went and did that, and it was a week before we went to New York, so it was really nice to get W ticked off. It was a race course, so it wasn't the most beautiful park run that we've been on our travels, but it was one we had to do and it's local, so it ticked a few boxes.
But being next to a race course was really interesting and really busy, really nice friendly faces there as well. So yeah, I enjoyed that one as well.
Sixfields Upton was actually really nice. It was like part park, part off-road, part farm. It was really nice to do, and the first time that we'd been on a farm.
Sixfields Upton was, I think, really nice actually, but in quite an underrated way, because it was just really 2 laps of a park that went out into some country fields, but it was really nice.
We completed York parkrun with my sister, and again, well, it was quite a sad parkrun because was my brother's stomping ground, and it was just sad really to think of all the times that he'd raced there. It was quite sad thinking that he was cut short in his prime really.
And York was Mum's old stomping ground, and it was where Uncle Barry used to run all of his parkruns. And it's flat, another race course, so yeah, really enjoyed that one, and Dawn came with us.
Hello, I'm Dawn, and I took part in the York and the Oaklands part of the A to Z walk.
Mum and Dawn walked it and I ran it, and we got a little coffee from a man in a truck afterwards.
Very interesting, very exhilarating, and enjoyed every moment being with so many like-minded enthusiasts, many of them running actually, because I just did the walk of the circuit, but I enjoyed it immensely.
York was lovely, if bittersweet, because we had memories of Barry.
Mum having cancer makes me feel quite out of control, and why that, you know, all you want to do is fix it, but there's nothing really you can do, and all you can really do is sort of listen and make sure you're there for it. But when you're in the moment and she's talking about things that are happening, it doesn't really feel like enough.
I just remember crying with the rest of the family, and it made me feel like Mum had been through so much, losing relatives, PMR, and she really didn't need this, but you know, she has it.
Found a swelling under my armpit at the end of November 2022, and I went to the GP, who then found a lump in my breast, and I went to the breast clinic and I had ultrasound and biopsy and was diagnosed with breast cancer on the 22nd of December 2022. Well, it's not on your bucket list of things to do in 2023, and it's an exclusive club that nobody wants to join, and once you're in it you can't get out of it, and it's completely turned my world upside down. It's absolutely devastating. And it's a massive curveball because everything's halted. We were meant to be going to Australia on a holiday that had to stop because the length of the treatment is a year. Your whole year is consumed with hospital appointments and having treatment.
It makes me feel quite, obviously sad and quite out of control, and I'm quite helpless, but you can't really do anything to help.
She is one of the most mentally strong people that I know, and if anybody could beat it, it would be Mum.
First 6 months when I had the IV chemo, they were quite structured weeks because I had to have bloods taken 2 days before the chemo, and then if they were all right, then I had the chemo. So the first 4 months it was every 3 weeks, so it used to floor me for the first 2 days. I always got up and got dressed and potted about the house, and I always went out for a walk, whether that would be 5 minutes, 10 minutes or 30 minutes. And then the second week I felt better, so I did more. I always, like I say, went out for the walk. I did something like macrame or colouring to try and keep mindful, but also had a house to run, and though my girls were good with the cleaning and the washing and that, still wanted to help out. And then on the third week I was feeling really good and I could walk for about 40 minutes. Then I had the bloods done, then the chemo, and then the whole cycle went again. But I also had to be really careful on that second week because that was when my immune system was at its lowest, so I had to stay in a lot because I couldn't catch a cold. And I know my eldest daughter Abby, she had a cold and we had to farm around. She stayed at Eno Sue's for a week until she was germ free, because it was really important because of sepsis that I didn't get an infection. And then when I went on to weekly chemo, I did that for 3 months. It was again bloods 2 days before. If everything was all right, went ahead with the chemo. But I just had to be mindful about pacing myself, that I didn't get too tired. So I did more stuff like macrame. The Crown got me through chemo. Used to watch it while I was having chemo. Might be sneaking a sneaky episode at home. It was feeling tired. But again, I was up, I was dressed, I always went out for a walk. Really important. I wanted to get out every day and try and be active, because I know that was really important. That's what all the doctors, the nurses, on the blogs and the websites that I was on, always said, try and get out for a walk. But again, sometimes it was only maybe 10 minutes around the block, other times it was maybe around the park. And I always tried to meet someone for coffee, at least twice a week. But again, mindful about infection. that I didn't pick one up, because the last thing I wanted was a delay in chemo, which meant then a delay in surgery, and which then meant a delay in getting this horrible disease cut out of me.
This challenge is affected through mum having cancer because we obviously can't do it while she's doing chemotherapy, and we only have one to do, and in sod's law it's the one abroad, so it's not even like we can travel in the UK, but she's obviously too unwell and is at the risk of infection, so she'll have to stay here anyway. But yeah, it's not ideal, and we've been on hold for Zoida Park for ages now.
I'm excited for Zoida Park. It feels like it's been quite a long time in the planning now, but it will be great to finally finish the A to Z and to show that, you know, global pandemic, cost of living crisis, war in Ukraine, and mum getting sick didn't stop us from finishing the A to Z. So the one constant that we've all got at the moment.
Oh, I am so excited for Zoida Park. We've got it planned to go in April, the first weekend in April in 2023, but because of the treatment, couldn't go. So once I've completed treatment, we're gonna sort out a date, and we're gonna go and on the Eurostar and complete Zoida Park, and then that'll be our A to Z completed.
Am I excited for Zoida Park? That's not even a question. Of course I am. I am super excited for Zoida Park. It's going to be a real family affair. After everything that we've gone through in this challenge, to think when I came up with this idea for me and Mum to do it, I thought we could do it in a year. How wrong I was. Here we are, nearly 4 years later, and we hopefully will be able to do it at least next year. So yeah, super excited for Zoida Park.
The more the merrier, because it's going to be a great achievement to have done.
To Zoida Park.
On to Zoida Park.
How excited was I for Zoida Park? Oh, it was just fantastic. Seemed a long wait with the planning, but when it's week before going, it was just like so exciting.
Well, I was very excited. I don't know about you.
No, I was. It was my first abroad holiday for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I was really excited.
Yeah, I was looking forward to finally finishing, because it's been a long journey to get here, hasn't it?
We had a WhatsApp thread. We were like really, raising the conversation and just sort of getting that excitement to day of travel.
Yeah, and I think as well, I thought if we don't get it done, we're never going to get it done. So we just right, well, the iron was hot.
Yes,
just do it.
That's it. Oh, well, I've never been to the Netherlands before. My first impressions of the Netherlands were quite good, actually. I thought it was a nice place, The Hague.
Yeah, and I hadn't been to the Netherlands either, and I thought the same. Canals. That's what I thought.
That's
nice.
yeah.
Although I, in my mind, I thought it would be still.
Yeah, it was raining.
So I had to buy a raincoat. I think we got those. So it weren't that far away.
So for me, it was the first time there. Really enjoyed the actual Den Haag. It was seamless travel. I really enjoyed the boat trip. Obviously after the parkrun, I think that was just a real traditional way of exploring the Netherlands.
Well, no, this debater's for me, it ranks up there. It's definitely up there. I think if it was sunny, it would be up there more, but that's nothing on the park. I thought the park was actually really beautiful.
Yeah, I think for me, ranking for organisation, it was definitely number one because obviously it took a lot of organisation.
Yeah.
So where does Zoid Park rank on the parkrun tourisms I've done? Well, for me, it was my first international, European, I should say, parkrun. So of course that was really exciting. I knew I was going to have a nice weekend away with that.
I enjoyed it because I was walking. I actually did something I've never done before, and I stopped. I took photographs of all the water fountains, the wildlife, because there was a lot of structures, man-made structures. So it was the first that I did that.
Yeah.
And no marshals.
Oh yeah, because it was just like a massive circle.
Yeah. It was, so ranked top for a lot of things.
Yeah.
The course itself was a beautiful park, so it was all exciting to obviously I always like to just turn up, I don't look at the course, so it's always a surprise, and then you just start taking it all in as you enjoy the run around a new venue.
Very, very wet. Again, my job was to hold the coats, take some footage, but it was very wet, very, very wet. But again, good fun, and then a lovely breakfast after.
So obviously the other purpose of going to Zoid Park was the focus of Rebecca's inspirational way she's handled her treatment, and obviously following a diagnosis. It was a real positive future point to look forward to, and this is what we're also looking forward to at the end of treatment and the reward of having a fantastic weekend away for her, and obviously for me spending it with my friends.
Zoid Park.
So, how do you feel after Zoida Park 6 months on now from when we did it? And I thought I'd bring you back to where it all began, which was Coventry, our home parkrun. So, how do you feel about it?
Well, I'm just blown away that we managed to do it.
Yeah, I think after everything that we went to get here, for you especially, it's just amazing that we did it. And you know, loads of people do the A to Z, but less people do it in order.
Well, I was just going to say that when I was doing the parkrun this morning, I thought, how many people who've done the alphabet have actually done it in order? Because Amanda hasn't, has she?
No. Yeah, so
She's all over the spot with hers, isn't
Yeah.
she?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's something that I will take with me through my entire life, I think. And it's, I would say, one of my proudest achievements.
Well, you've got big achievements to come.
Oh, thank you.
You know, with your marathons and ultra marathons. But, you know, I'm just happy doing partruns.
Yeah, there's no one else I'd rather spend this opportunity with than you.
Oh, I feel exactly the same with darling. Doesn't matter, I love it too.
How does parkrun make you feel?
Quite exhilarated.
Emotional.
In one word, knackered.
Being included, being part of something, included.
Connected.
Fantastic.
On top of the world.
When I turn up